and welcome back to Disappointing Turtle. I am Creed. Let's get the formalities out of the way nice and quickly. Please don't forget to like and subscribe this channel. Thank you very, very much. Right, let's get straight into it then. So everybody else has had their videos out for the test server. So I'm guessing you guys have already seen a lot of the stuff that I'm going to be saying. Keeping that in mind, I am going to keep it as interesting as possible for you guys. So there are some big fights, not just the big main event from the K2's winning side's POV, but also some nice one-on-one and some good tower hits and building hits and things like that as well. So yep, and of course I'm going to be discussing strategy with you because this is the most important thing to winning this event, I do believe. So yeah, I'm going to go over loads and loads of stuff with you guys. Now, there was just so much footage to go through, which is why it has taken me this long to put this video out. The video is rather long, I do apologise. I cut it down as much as I possibly could, but there was just so much good stuff that I couldn't make it any shorter. So I'm gonna try and not talk so much, but I will explain things when I think that they are important, especially if it's strategy based and stuff like that. I have included a lot of stuff from our AC chat because I really want you guys to know what's going on in the background. It's one thing to see the castles moving and see people making moves, but it's another thing to know why they're doing them, and that is the information that I want you guys to take away from watching this video. My first impressions of the Uncharted Seas event is that it's like KVK meets Tides of Darkness. So it is pretty full on, guys. It is going to be spread out over 7 weeks when the Uncharted Seas event does finally get launched. Whereas we just had 7 days to fit in as much as we possibly could, and boy did we make the most of it. That was possibly one of the most exhausting weeks gaming on GOG in a really, really long time. It was very, very competitive, very full on. But yeah, lots and lots of good stuff to share with you guys. Let's have a little look at how Guns of Glory say that you have to play the game. I'm not going to go over all of this information for you guys. I'm going to put it up on the screen and you guys can have a little look yourselves. For those of you that are massive geeks like me and want to know absolutely all the ins and outs, that'll be there for you. So yes, enjoy! The basic formalities of the game are pretty easy, although there is a lot to do and you need to be on it like right from the beginning. But essentially you have to earn solo rewards, and collecting pirate loot is really, really important because this gets sorted down into your supplies and things like that, which you do through research. I'll give you guys a little look-see of that in a bit. But as well as gaining your solo rewards, you also need to help out the Alliance and the Kingdom quite a lot. I'm going to explain a little bit about how we managed to sort of... There's a big-ass thunderstorm going on. Sorry about that, if you can hear the thunder, it's a little bit crazy. But yes, I'm going to go in and talk to you guys a little bit about how we sort of unified and worked together and what we did to win, basically, how we managed to achieve that. So same with like most of the events, UAC and all of that, you have a separate hospital for this event as well. The deaths was quite interesting and also really, really good. So essentially, if you hit buildings or towers or the bits in the middle, you do not lose any troops, so that's really, really good. If you hit a castle, however, you do lose a few troops, but not so many. Yeah, it's pretty good. I think that might only be on an attack as well, actually. I think if you're defending your castle, you don't lose any troops either, but if you attack a castle, you lose like 10% or something like that. So that's quite good. I did notice as well that troops are healed quite quickly, quite easily. I've got a few examples of that, so there's not too much gold burning if you're not being stupid about it, you know. So to start off with, you have a fort, and you've got to get that put down quite quickly, really, as soon as you enter the game tab. It is a very fast. It's a fight in a different sense of the word. So really, what you need to do is build up your resources and things like that, just very, very, very quickly, and you do that by expanding your territory and collecting nodes. And also by gathering within your territory, and doing these gathering things also gives you the pirate loot that I mentioned earlier, which is really, really important for your research and stuff. Another rumble. Within the research, it's worth mentioning as well that there's parts where you can donate to. Again, I will show you that when I show you guys what the research and stuff looks like, but it's quite interesting. There's lots of little bits to do, and actually I think that element of the game was quite hidden. Lots of people had difficulty trying to find that. It was a bit of a pain. You have to build up honour as well. That's like a really important part of the game, and you get that by killing troops in the other kingdom. And you get that. You can exchange those in You can exchange those in the honour store, so very similar to the Alliance honour store that we have now, but specifically for this event. You have to build up all the Alliance research, same as what you do when you start building an Alliance from scratch. One thing that will be very beneficial that we had to do on the server that you wouldn't have to do here is that on the main server, most of the alliances have already got their actual research built up quite well, and that's really, really good. If you don't, then you need to get started on that, because it becomes really, really, really important. More so just for capacity. You very much need to be able to move around. It's one of the strategies that really, really helped us in this, especially within our kingdom. So the map initially, when you first go on, is divided by sort of your kingdom. Yeah, and as you open up map, you can see more and more of it on the top right hand corner. There's obstacles and things, landmarks that you've got to get on the way. There's limited amounts of them as well. Not only do you gain points and territory, but some of them you have to get to be able to pass certain points. So there's bridges and things that you need to be near, connected to be able to get further in. And just like KVK, the ultimate goal of this is to make your way to the middle. It's really, really important part of the game. So yeah, there's bridges, outposts, and like the main pirate, I can't remember what they called it, but it's basically a big pirate palace. And there's some harbours that you've got to try and get as well. And gaining these will basically give you access to other kingdoms, and to the other part of the maps that you're all trying to get to reach the Devil's Keep / palace. Before I go any further into explaining the event and the things that we were sort of getting up to, I just want to say that the footage and everything that's been going on that I filmed, that you guys have been watching for the last sort of 7 minutes or so, is the battles for the towers and territory that we were doing before that really big first main event. So that's what you're watching. I'm going to go into the strategies and things like that we came up with, because there was actually a lot of strategy to what we did, but I just wanted you to know what you're watching. Yeah, so that's what all of this footage is, and the chats that I've left in I feel are relevant because I want you to understand just how much cooperation really is needed in order to be successful in this Uncharted Seas event. So what I haven't shown you is basically all the boring bit when you first enter into this sort of new server. I believe it will be the same on the live, so you enter through a completely different tab which is called Uncharted Seas, same as like what you would do with New World, and it takes you on to this different map basically.
The reason why I haven't recorded all of that and shown it is because really it's a little bit dull, and it will give me something to talk about whilst I get to show you all the cool stuff that I got instead, because there was just so much footage. So before I even got onto the server, I'd already created a Discord room and had invited 5 members of my alliance who had managed to get into the server as well, which was really, really awesome. Thanks to those guys, they know who they are, especially Megalodon, who's in quite a few of my videos because he's like my right-hand man, Mega Mary. But also some of the people of the server that just wanted to come and play with me, and some people out of my line room. We didn't know initially if we were going to end up in the same kingdom or not, but we wanted to go ahead with a kind of structure anyway, and start laying down plans and foundations before we'd even entered the server. So we did that. Luckily for us, when we did hit the Uncharted Seas map, a lot of us were in K2 together, which was really, really awesome. Sadly, a few people did not make it, and for a couple of people they could not get the app to work at all, because you had to download the tester via a separate app. It was a bit shit for those people, unfortunately. When we got onto the Uncharted Seas map and in there, the first thing that we decided that we were going to do straight away is put down the fort, and claim a bit of territory. Initially we'd actually put it down in the wrong place. We'd had a little look at the map and scoped about. E, who was in our group, was absolutely amazing from the offset. She really helped organise and get everything sorted. But as soon as we realised that we were really far away from the first landmark, we actually took down the first 5 towers that we built, which you do not reclaim the supplies back for, so it's probably only about 3 hours worth of resource collecting and hitting the pirate threats, but it was work undone all the same, but it really, really was worth it. So we relocated our first fortress closer to the first landmark that had to be taken. That panned out really, really well from us. We managed to claim that first landmark. The whole time we had people coming in and out. We'd already decided that essentially there was going to be 3 main alliances that were kind of going to work together, because they'd essentially made more progress on claiming territory, but also more progress with the separate alliance research and donations that you have to do. I'll show you guys that. So because these 3 alliances, my alliance, DPT for Disappointing Turtle, OFG and GER, have basically made more progress in these areas. So what we were attempting to do is to basically build completely next to each other and head to the next landmark by this point, but try and get there sort of together so that we could completely block off an entire area, but using each other. I will go into a bit more of the strategy as well, because there was quite a lot behind it, and I can show you a couple of bits and bobs that we'd been talking about behind the scenes. One of the most important things that we did though, which really did kind of just set the precedence for DPT and OFG from the very, very beginning, was that we kind of, both alliances separately looked at the event a lot like tides. So as soon as we hit that new map, we straight away all just started collecting resources. We did you do go into it quite blindly to start off with. You're not really sure what you're doing. You'd have to explore through all the tabs like you do with any other sort of event. But because this one was brand new and had never been played before, there was no information about it whatsoever. We were just riding on information that we know of previous events, and this seemed to fit the Tides of Darkness way that kind of executes itself. This kind of fits in with that. So I think from the offset, those 2 alliances straight away started playing it as if it was Tides of Darkness. We very quickly realised that there was a lot more to it than how that is set up, and that we needed to cooperate together to make progress, which is when we sort of like started to hatch plans and started to really, really work together, especially with those 3 alliances that I mentioned before, with the blocking off and everything else that came with it. But we honestly would not have been able to do any of the stuff that we did if we hadn't have had a decent resource stash. It is so important that you have those resources stashed away, which means literally hitting those pirate threats the minute you land, getting on those resource tiles, getting those towers down so that you can start collecting up those nodes as quickly as possible to get your production sped up. But also it means going into the individual research and getting all of that boosted up. So we'll have a little look at that as well. I said I was gonna try and keep it interesting for you guys, so hopefully I'm gonna try and incorporate some of these little battles into these videos. As I said earlier, they're important because it's all the sort of build up right up until that final match, and I just really want you guys to get a feel of what was going on in the background rather than just seeing that final match and that kind of taking that away with you. So let's have a little look at the old research then. So the research you access in through the Uncharted Seas tab, and on this fancy little globe here you click on that and that will basically take you into your solo research. You can see on the left hand side they've got the pirate loot, which is what I was saying earlier was really important. That's what you kind of get from gathering and stuff. You can see up the top here that my pirate loot is full. I need to use some of that by doing some of these research upgrades. So there's two different types of research. You've got support and battle. The support is basically how quickly you gather resources and the pirate loot and stuff as well, but also how quickly sort it out. Sounds a bit strange, but there you go. So they're the upgrades that you need to do, and they might not seem very important, but they're really integral to the way that you kind of pave yourself going forward. Like, as I keep saying, collecting those resources is a really strategical thing that everybody needs to be doing when this does finally hit the servers. So you get some backup supplies as well. They generate over time. That's underneath the button here, so you can collect up to 5 of those in so many hours. They come in quite handy, especially for the big upgrades in the research. So you have like a main upgrade that you have to do on the left hand side as well, which is quite important. And then if you click on this board in the background here, this just shows you everything that your alliance is sort of generating. So you can see it says the alliance development. These resources up the top here are what we have saved as an alliance. So that's what we've got for building our towers and things like that. This was later on in the event, so you can see we've got like 167 towers or something and 2 fortresses. And these resource nodes, what I was talking to you guys about, having to get those in your territory so that you're gaining those resources as well. They're really important. And yeah, you get a alliance mine to put down as well, the same as what you do on the normal map, but you get to do that on this map as well, so that's quite a nice little touch. Yeah, and then on top of the solo research that you need to do on that globe, you also need to do the alliance research, and there is quite a lot of it to get done. I mean, as I said before, this was all sort of packed into 7 days. On the server, when it actually goes live and it's on our normal sort of playing platform, you'll have 7 weeks to do it, so you won't have to rush through all of this stuff quite so quickly. So essentially you can click on the ones that are grey, not all of them, but because you have to wait for some of them to finish researching, same as usual, but you click on the grey ones and it will tell you if you can donate to that or not. So it's the same as the alliance research in your normal alliance, and you have to do that here as well. You can see this one's set on recommended, so you get your extra honour points for donating to that one. And again, the alliance donations are actually really important, especially from a sort of strategical benefit. You can see you've got these ultra rallies here. They are really important. You only get so many per person. I think it's 5. I don't know if that's daily or not. I will try and find out by the end of this video, as I want to mention them again later anyway. But yeah, so you need to make it quite far in these research to start making those effective. And yes, of course, you do that by gathering and everything else all over again, because you need to get the supplies in order to be able to make the donations. There is a lot of strategy involved in the Uncharted Seas event, so I'm just going to go over some of the main bits of strategy with you guys, and then also go over our Operation Break that was masterfully thought up by Cass and Lionheart. Okay, so first of all, one of the most important things that we did was we got the alliances sort of aligned with each other, the ones that were within K2, and we all worked together, as I mentioned previously before, but it kind of went beyond just sort of communicating with each other. We were actually leaving our alliances and going to different alliances so that we could communicate what we needed. If somebody in OFG needed to be in DPT for a rally or something, they would literally just leave OFG and come over. So there was more than one R5 going on at certain times, and thank you to all the people that took over R5 from me so that I could go and join OFG for that last fight. But yeah, so I really do think that that was one of the things that we did that really helped. It's worth pointing out as well is we try to keep noise to a minimum, and by noise I mean like lots of people talking over each other. So we had a room in line which had sort of 2 representatives from each alliance, and maybe a couple more had been added in over time, but we kept the group fairly small so that essentially we could come up with a plan. Those 2 people could then convey the plan to the alliance, and potentially those people, the ones that would move around between alliances, making sure the things that we were heading towards were being done. For example, one alliance would be tearing down the towers of the other kingdom, and the other alliance would be putting theirs up, then gaining that territory. We did have some massive battles like that. Some of what you've been watching is that. It's where we were gaining territory and taking up other people's buildings. OFG would mega, and then DPT would put towers down, or vice versa, because we weren't playing as a single unit, we were playing as a kingdom. We had a goal in mind, we knew what we wanted to head towards, and that was our main focus. And we set goals from quite early on, really, probably from the first landmark that we took. We'd already started cooperating with each other and kind of working like that for these sort of unified goals. It's just worth saying as well that whilst all of this fighting was going on and all of the alliances were trying to sort of gain territory in K2, that we were all also doing the donations, the research and gathering as well. So it didn't matter what alliance we were in at the time, we were still making sure that all of those things were being done, because part of our strategy was making sure that at least 3 alliances had enough stuff to be able to fight for the centre. Having our alliance forces joined as one was probably the best move that we did. As I said before, it was a really great strategy, and I just kind of want to demonstrate to you why. So to start off with, we would come up with a very well-rounded plan, so that everybody had a goal and something to work towards, always keeping in mind that we were focused on that centre position, so we were constantly trying to make moves to put ourselves in a better position to be able to fight, whilst sort of hindering other people in the process, and retaining a half-decent troop count, which I think is probably the worst thing out of all of it, because yes, even though it is fast to heal and everything, you start running out of all of that stuff pretty quick. If you're a big player and you're losing lots and lots of troops quick and consecutively. But these very sure sort of plans that we were coming up in the back room were really good and detrimental to our progress. As I mentioned before, the people that were in this room, it was only a small amount of groups, so we would discuss what the plan was, go back to the separate alliances, and the information was then relayed, and from there we could make our next move. Whilst all of this is sort of going on, the individual alliances obviously have their own little jobs that they're getting on with as well. They will also have a few goals and focuses and things that they're working on, maybe outside of what's been discussed, but obviously helping towards the same agenda. So it's not like it's sort of being dictated to, you know, it's all discussed And yeah, it was really, really good. Some of the best teamwork that I've seen in a really, really long time. Like, genuinely, these guys were amazing. It was an absolute pleasure to play with everybody in K2. It really, really was. Operation Break came around quite a while before we were going to go for the middle. We wanted to have sort of like a clear view of where we were headed and what we were doing. Essentially what we wanted to do was to flank both K4 and K1 and get around the back of them. We'd already done quite a good job of cutting off K3. Well, they'd actually been cut off by another kingdom anyway, but we had a much better chance if we were against less people. So strategically that's what we wanted to do, but it meant actually changing our own path as well. We had to take down some of our towers and put them back up, and as you guys have already seen, we'd fought for quite a lot of our towers. But this was the best plan that we had, and it worked really, really well. We'd completely blocked off K1 right at the back. I'd mentioned earlier in KC that I thought that one of the kingdoms might do that to us, and we managed to kind of use that to our advantage. There was a lot of other stuff going on, but yeah, Lion came up with Operation Break. It was probably the best plan that we had. We all kind of put our ideas together, and this was the best outcome for us. And yeah, obviously it led to us winning that first very epic battle. There were so many big castles up in there, it's absolutely crazy. As you'll see, I mean, I know you guys have already seen it, but we've got it kind of from our point of view as well. I know it had been mentioned that the lag was quite bad, and it really, really was, but it was bad for everybody. I don't think any individual person had it kind of worse than anybody else. It was pretty terrible across the board, to be completely honest. The key to making Operation Break work was getting those towers demoed unnoticed. So there had to be quite a lot of distraction techniques, and that's where having several alliances working together really made that easy. This entire time we were still fighting as well, fighting for our landmarks and our towers. We were still having megas on fort and everything else, so yeah, we were really just trying to plan ahead and give ourselves the best opportunity of getting to the middle and winning. It was great fun. We all definitely enjoyed it, and having that sort of goal as well and giving it a name, it was fun. Everybody really enjoyed it. It bonded all the alliances in the kingdom a little bit further, especially after we got that first win. So there you have it. That's the big secret, really. Just work together. The kingdoms that are warring at the moment that are going to go into this event live are going to struggle quite badly. I think if you learn anything from any of the videos is that you're going to have to settle differences just to be able to kind of get through this event. It doesn't even really matter about actives. You can win this event with a few players, but you have to be organised, and you definitely need to take advantage of your each individual alliance's assets. If you're a farming alliance, you know, that's your job. Get resources, build towers, block off the opponents, whatever you need to do to win. And that's it, yeah. Teamwork, literally, makes the dream work.
Hey everybody, this is 433's The Megalodon, doing a bit of a segue for Creed's video. Gonna get my time in on YouTube. We're talking about Uncharted Seas, the test server that I was a part of for GOG, which was a lot of fun. If people weren't a part of the test server but saw the videos, it was definitely that exciting to be a part of it. Not as exciting dying from it, but hey, no losses. So I just wanted to talk about some of the stuff that happened, ups, downs, good, bad. So a couple of the good points was definitely a very good team effort. Shout out to Kingdom 2. Love you guys, you're the best. And shout out to the other kingdoms for bringing their A game at the Devil's Keep. There was some really awesome and amazing stuff that we had going on there. Fortunately, some of it was missed because of all the lag, but you know, when in Rome. Also the map had a lot of issues with being ultra sensitive, so maybe they can work on that one as well. Some of the most memorable things for me about the test server was definitely a standoff with Kingdom 3. I believe the alliance was 430. Some people that were in it. Rookie, King Ali was a part of that. I ended up taking a mega rally from him and losing. Took over a tower, but I was able to get it back. It was a good standoff between DPT and Alliance 430 from Kingdom 3. It was, I want to say maybe 7 or 8 of us in the Alliance, just trying to hold our ground against basically an onslaught of rookie marches that we were able to hold on to the harbor until reinforcements came to help us out. It was definitely a lot of fun. Definitely got all amped up over that battle. It was up until about 3-4 o'clock in the morning because I could not fall asleep. My own fault. The battles at the Devil's Keep was pretty amazing. You know, we had Not Crispy for Kingdom 2, Dark Mystic, Widow, Luca's, Luca. Again, Rookie from K3. It was pretty amazing to see everybody, you know, all the castles. Watched a lot of videos from Keychain, Tom Vapor, Paper Matthew. There was a lot of good videos on YouTube about the battles there, and would definitely be a part of any kind of test server like this again. So thank you for your time. Once again, shout out Kingdom 2. Take care, guys.
And that is it. Yeah. Winners. Despite what the rumour mill might say. You've all seen it for yourselves now. Hopefully you've taken some good strategies away with you, and this video has been helpful in helping you decide what way you want to go, especially with those warring kingdoms. I hope that this has demonstrated to you guys that you need to try and get on some sort of a wavelength where you can start participating together. But yeah, thanks ever so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. Every single one of you, just thank you absolutely loads. Hope that you all have a lovely day. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and take care.